Hi, welcome to my digital Lego city. It's not real, it's digital. Today I want to show you my most recent updates. I left the peach orchard and vineyards to go back to the industrial part of the city. And here it is. The next section will be a very cool and grimy industrial area based on Canal Street in Philadelphia, but my own version of it, as if it's still in use in the modern-ish late 90s. So far, I've built out only 2 of the factories that build out a single corner of a street that contains lots of twists and turns. As its name suggests, Canal Street was originally a creek that was later transformed into a canal before eventually being filled in. At its center runs a railway track and, in its current state, has many spurs that lead into bricked-over garage doors or into open-air nothingness, as many buildings have long since been demolished. I can envision some really interesting switching moves taking place as small switchers move boxcars to and from all these factories. Like many past-era industrial areas, this entire neighborhood has been demolished and new condos have been built. Finding images where the spurs were actually used proved difficult. While old aerial shots and some close-ups of specific businesses in the area are available, I couldn't find anything where you could actually see trains using the tracks, until I found a picture of a nearby storage tank with a jack-o'-lantern face, and up in this little corner you can actually make out some boxcars. So I started with a map and started laying down tracks. I tried my best to fit the existing curves with the available official LEGO and third-party tracks. I did my best, but LEGO tracks won't perfectly represent the real track geometry, as there are some areas where no LEGO track exists to fit the exact shape of the rail. Hey! So, while inspired by Canal Street, my vision is to imagine that this area is still a hive of activity in the modern era, so some of the curves will be adjusted to fit 50-foot boxcars. Also, my version of the factories along the road are not a faithful reproduction of what was actually there. I'm taking some major liberties on how the factories look, so they look good using LEGO as the build medium, and they're fun for me to build. This neighborhood has undergone changes over the years, so I needed to decide what version to model on. While I decided to use this map to build out the layout, I wanted to incorporate some spurs that were on the older maps that have since been torn up. I decided to start in the northern section, where on the older map, it appears that spurs crossed in front of each other before heading into their respective warehouses. So let's get started. The road is laid with cobblestone, which I simulated using mostly 2x1 tiles, with ingots mixed in. Rounded and angled tiles break up the rectangular pattern by adding little holes and cracks. I couldn't reproduce the track as per the map because, as mentioned, I want to support 50-foot boxcars. So this spur divergent off the main branch is pretty harsh, especially in LEGO. I had it diverge earlier down the road before the curve so that it could enter the warehouse more straight on. Here's a picture in New York where we see a similar type of geometry behavior. The track swings one way before diving into the warehouse. This crossover here is something completely custom made. If this were real LEGO, I would have to use scissors to cut and glue this custom crossing together. In model railroading, we also have to occasionally lay custom tracks to match a particular scene and create some interesting track geometry. The first building is an old box factory. However, the box factory itself is using a space originally used as a metal casting plant. It has these very large orange vents that poke in and out and down the building. It's based somewhat off my memory of piping of an old metal foundry near a bike trail I used to ride. These large orange pipes take any fumes and steam to a filter or pumping room on the upper level, where it eventually exhausts outside via some stubby smokestacks. I actually forgot these orange pipes existed, so I was using gray cylinder pipes instead. Then I saw Brickcrafts use them recently, and they look pretty cool, so I decided to use them instead and converted the gray cylinder pipes as smokestacks. The real factories on Canal Street mostly had very flat roofs, but that doesn't really work well in LEGO. So to add some detail on the roof and give the inside workers some light, the building has these sawtooth window boxes on top. As the building travels down the road, it actually tapers in ever so slightly. The building isn't quite done, it ends in a temporary side. I haven't built the backside yet, as I'm not sure if there will be another road back here or if it will just connect to another set of buildings. The challenge of the building's front was to make it look interesting and Lego-like. The real warehouses here often have rows of repeating windows, which just doesn't look great when you use Lego as the build medium. So to keep it visually interesting, I made each section different. These sections include areas with various garage doors and loading docks, and others have vents, pipes, and windows in different configurations. Right beside the box factory, this orange warehouse completes the corner. It also has rail access, which required the construction of this neat crossing that sits right in front of the two factory doors. It has a simpler, relatively flat roof, but even then, I added window boxes and roof access rooms just to give it some interest. Continuing the theme of keeping visual interest, each section of the warehouse has a slightly different configuration of windows, doors, and piping. Like the box factory, only the front facade and top are completed. I'm not sure what's going to be built behind all this yet, so everything in the back is just temporary. The other side of the building will have another building built up right up against it. The top windows may be visible, but the lower half will not, which is why the bottom half is void of any details right now. Connecting the two factories is a little catwalk that stands above the crossing. The boss found a pretty good vantage point to see what's going on, making sure everyone's got their safety vests on and are working. I'm not yet sure how this will all connect with the rest of the city yet, so I'm going to leave it out here for now. This is mainly because I need to add a canal and locks over beside the plastics factory and mill, and I haven't got around to designing it out yet. That's it for now. I really like how this section is starting out. In particular, I really like this interesting corner with the crossing before the two garage doors. So I'm really excited about building the next sections. Thanks for watching.